I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan.
Okay, well, I ran out of change. Jeep's still dirty, and I am cold and wet. Yeah, I can see my breath in here right now. So, there is another coin op or car wash that you can do yourself, like a self-serve car wash just around the corner that takes actually debit and credit, because I usually don't carry cash, so I ran out of cash for this one. But the other one, the issue being is that one has only one stall open currently because maintenance or whatever. So wish me luck, let's go get it washed. Well, I'm soaked. Big Bird is clean. Gloves are done. I've got mud on my face. I am completely cooked, but the lighting in here is primo. Honestly, I wish I could shoot vlogs in here all the time. That's how good the lighting is. It's perfect. But besides the point, the Jeep is clean, and that is my first step or first thing I want to mention in keeping your Jeep rust-free, or keeping your truck or rig or anything you drive rust-free. And if you're doing it yourself like me, then definitely I have a lot of tips for you guys. And the first one being, keep it clean, wash it, get that salt off of it. If you guys have salt on the roads where you live, just make sure that it doesn't sit on there. Well, it sits on there as little as possible, so wash your vehicle as often as possible. I usually wash mine once a week because I don't daily drive mine. I only drive it on weekends, so I wash it after I drive it. But if you guys drive it more often, see if you guys can somehow figure out a way to just get it clean, get that salt off of there, because that's the #1 killer. But that being said, let me go clean up, let me go change, because it's not fun being out here in the cold all wet. And I'll go over the other tips that I can give you guys to keep your vehicles rust-free. And we're back. It's the next day. As you guys can tell, it's a bit brighter out. Not much, because it's still winter and it's still dark pretty damn early. But so my first point was, make sure you wash your vehicle, your rig, your Jeep, your truck, whatever you want to keep safe from the salt and from the actual rust, because rust is your enemy. And it is basically the worst thing you can have happen to one of your panels or your frame or anything, because then it's just a pain in the butt to clean it and seal it again. So preventing it in the first place is always best. I did not have that luxury, so that's why I'm coming to you from the perspective that I've actually gone through and taken care of all the rust, and I know what I've done to get rid of it, so I know how to seal it so it doesn't come back. And one of the main parts that I had rust through were the quarters over here. I had the back rust right through on both sides, right underneath the license plate, basically right where the body mounts are. Very common spot for these Jeeps. And what I ended up doing is I ended up taking out all the rust, cutting out the metal that was there, and I had a piece of metal welded in for me. Then I sealed it off with a gravel guard, and that's what this product is here that you guys are seeing. It's basically like halfway between a bed liner and like almost a sandpaper, I want to call it, because it's got that kind of grit. You can see some of the stuff kind of flakes off a little bit at the beginning because this is still fresh, but once it settles down, it looks a little bit more like this, and it does hold the dirt a bit. As you can see, I did just wash the Jeep and it is a little bit dirty, but that is also because I don't really have fenders, so it is what it is. But this stuff is great at protecting from rocks, from rust, from any kind of scratches, debris, just anything that's going to come in contact with your vehicle. So basically, salt will not get through this unless you have an actual cut in it or a crack in it or a chip in it, just like your paint. But With this, it is a lot easier to recoat and to add on another spot or to fix a spot or do whatever you need to do on the go without having to color match and any of that stuff. So I definitely recommend this for undercoating. But what's the first thing that you guys could use? The first thing you guys could do is go get an oil spray. Oil spray is great because you can go get it done every single year. You know that you're protected. Everything underneath is coated. Second thing you can do is go and get an actual undercoating. The first being like a rubberized undercoating, something that actually dries and is paintable. It is hard. Well, not hard, it's rubberized, but it actually hardens. It actually dries. The oil one doesn't completely dry. Now the third one that you can go and get at a shop is like a wax-based one. It's similar to the oil one, but it dries a little bit more. If you guys have ever seen like a GM truck come out of the factory with the undercoating, that's exactly what it's like. It's like a pasty, waxy, like it's, yeah, it doesn't work great. If you guys know anybody that has a GM truck, once you peel that stuff off, it actually rusts underneath it. Don't ask me why. I'm not an expert in why those trucks rust like that. Everything that I've owned rusts, so I'm not out here to complain. But definitely, if you guys want to get rid of that rust, or if you already have, or if you have a newer vehicle and you want to prevent it, then those are 3 great options for newer vehicles or for vehicles that you're not going to be underneath working on yourself. Because trust me, you don't want to be working underneath a vehicle that's been undercoated with the oil spray or the wax, because it's no fun. You're going to get nasty and grimy doing just simple jobs. So if you want something that you can do at home yourself, that's where I'm coming in, and that's my perspective today and where I'm coming at you guys from, because that's what I do. I undercoat and I maintain my own rust care. So basically, as you guys saw on my quarters here and on my rockers, I coated it with a gravel guard. I did my rockers, I did my bumpers, and I did my corners here. Basically, that is the stuff that I'm going to be most worried about when I'm on the trail. Now, if you're not going out on the trail, you don't have to worry about doing your actual body like I did. If you're doing underneath and you're doing the frame, I actually use the same thing. If you guys take a look at my frame here, once again, I know it's a little bit dirty, but you can see the frame is completely coated all the way around, all the way to the front. The entire thing is coated with the same gravel guard that I used on the corners here. And this stuff holds up great. I've also done inside here, inside my wheel wells, and I didn't recoat it before the video just to show you guys this stuff actually does flake away and it does chip and it does crack eventually. This was coated 2 years ago and it's lasted pretty good. If you see, most of my actual wheel well is pretty coated. There's a few spots here and there. That's because I've been off-roading it and I've been thrashing it, and it's to be expected that we're gonna have a little bit of rust. But the beauty of this stuff is I can recoat it anytime. I can recoat it on the trail, I can recoat it at home, I can recoat it anywhere I want, and it's always gonna match and look good. I've also done my floors underneath here. I've also done the entire skid plate. I've done all of my body mounts. I also have new brackets welded in the back for the control arms, so I coated those, and you can see it has that like texture to it. And honestly, this stuff works great. I recommend it. I think that this is one of the best ways to coat your vehicle and to save it and to prolong it. Definitely, if you're out on the trails and you're doing things like off-roading or just any kind of gravel roads, I highly recommend something like this over going to get an oil spray or anything like that. Because if you do get rock chips or you do get anything thrown up at your actual paint or at your frame or anything like that, this is going to hold up a lot better. But there is another solution for doing it at home. You can do the gravel guard, or you can do a film, basically like a fluid film. And many different companies make it, many different brands have it. And basically what a fluid film is kind of like it's an aerosol. You spray it and it leaves a coating. You don't really see the coating. It's like an invisible coating, but it's not invisible. It's just because it's clear. That way you can spray it on, I actually know a lot of people that work in the trucking industry. They always spray their wheel nuts on their trailers in the wintertime so that they can actually get the wheels off later, because it is impossible once they actually start rusting on there. So fluid film helps protect the metal. It adds a layer of protection to the metal so that nothing gets to it and nothing touches it. Sort of like when you coat your shoes with the waterproofing solution and the water doesn't touch your shoe, it kind of rolls off. It's the same kind of idea. It creates a coating over the metal, and a lot of guys swear by that stuff. They love that stuff. They say that they undercoat their Jeep with it every year and their Jeep never rusts. I am not saying anything bad about that stuff. I honestly think that that stuff works great. The only reason I don't use it for my use is the reason I just stated. I go off-roading, I do gravel roads, I do a lot of things where a lot of contact is made with the actual vehicle, with debris on the road, whether it be rocks, tree branches, water crossings, whatever it may be. I go through a lot of different terrain and a lot of different junk that can damage my vehicle. And that's why I highly recommend getting a gravel guard. You can do your body, you can do underneath, you can do skid plates, you can do plastics, metal, you can do whatever you really want. And the beauty of it is you can recoat it in seconds. I actually have a can right here. This stuff works great. So I'll show you guys just how easily it recoats. And there you can see that texture. And there you have it. That's pretty much it. Now obviously you would want to mask off areas you don't want to paint, but if you're doing touch-ups just like we did right now, it doesn't really take you much effort. It doesn't really take you much time. You can get it done in basically 5 minutes, just like I did right now. And it looks good, it keeps your vehicle protected, and it's something you can do at home. You don't have to take your vehicle to get undercoated. You don't have to take your vehicle to get sprayed every year. And it's not a mess every time you go to work on it. So honestly, I recommend it. I highly recommend it. I've been using it for a long time. That's why I can tell you that it works. And anywhere that I have coated and I have sprayed, I have not had any rust come back. I have not had any rust reappear. As you guys saw there in the wheel wells, we did have a little bit of rust. That's because those areas I never really sanded down. I never really took care of. And I am going to get to that. As you guys can see, there is many areas on the Jeep that still need attention. There is some rust here. There's a couple rust pieces here and there around the Jeep, the grill, things like that. There's some rock chips that started rusting, and it is a work in progress. But believe me guys, if you saw where this thing started, it's come a long way, and it's still got a ways to go. So hopefully you guys will be there with me to see the journey, and hopefully you guys will be there with me when I take it out on the trail, because we are going to be taking it out on the trail soon, and hopefully I'll see you guys there. But I think that's where we're going to end off today's video. I pretty much covered everything. If you guys have any questions, jump down in the comment section. I'm happy to answer anything you've got, and definitely if you guys have any other tips or anything that you guys use that works great for you, then I'm happy to hear about that too, because I'm always open to suggestions. Like I said guys, thank you guys for coming out, thank you guys for watching, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one, but until then guys, ride safe out there. Peace.